Fasten your seatbelts for the realest Eagles and Sixers YouTuber! One who plays no clickbait and gets to the point! The myth, the legend, Nicky Steves! Come to my channel, you know the deal. Yo, boy, always keeps things real. I'm simply statue, think, and slate, dropping unrealistic magic. 2K takes for the clip. Even though cats like that get views closer to the millie, never hear me preach, look on to Philly. Before you watch the Eagles all the way through the early 22, authentic talk, forget what others do. Come to my channel, you know the deal. Yo, boy, always keep things real. The 24/7, 365 way. Sports content for the reals that feel the day. Good morning, folks. It is July 1st. We are just a few days away from 4th of July here in the United States. And we're kicking off with episode 16 of the 3-Point Blitz at the new time slot. That being 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesdays. That will be the first time for the foreseeable future, opposed to the typical Monday spot. But man, it's going to be an interesting show, man. This is going to be a little bit of what we planned, but also some live updates on what's going on across the league as well. Because the news is pouring in, folks, throughout the NBA, free agency, and we're going to talk about that as well. So let's get right into it. Let's start off with the rant of the week, the football-related subjects, get them out the way. We're going to start talking about haters of my team, the Philadelphia Eagles, man, because some of these haters, I'm telling y'all, are just, they're way in over their head. And what made me think about this last week on Thursday, night 2 of the NBA draft, because when I went live with Mitch later that night, we talked about it a little bit. There was a list via X/Twitter of ranking the top 4 teams headed into the 2025 NFL season. And those 4 teams were Kansas City, Baltimore, Washington, and Cincinnati. The top 4 teams headed into the season, theoretically. Not the Philadelphia Eagles, the team that just won the Super Bowl. You got the Washington Commanders, who've only been to the playoffs once in the past 3 years. Only had one winning record. That happened to be last season. And while I'm not denying their promise for the future, that doesn't make sense to put them over the team that, A, just won a Super Bowl, has been to 2 of the last 3 Super Bowls, and been to the playoffs all the last 3 seasons, even though the one in between the 2 Super Bowls was kind of undeserving. But you put Washington over them, and then Cincinnati Bengals, who missed the playoffs 2 straight years, the last 2 seasons, over the team that just won a Super Bowl for the top 4 teams. I mean, I could see if this were a situation like the 2016 offseason, right after Peyton Manning retired and the Broncos were going to start Paxton Lynch, I could have seen them not being rated a top 4 or 5 team headed into that season, or the Broncos back in 1999 after Elway retired. But you're talking about an Eagles team that just won the Super Bowl that still has most of the core back. To not even have them as a top 4 team just makes absolutely no sense. And it shows you that some of the hate for the Philadelphia Eagles is real. There are people out there that just don't want to give the Eagles their flowers. You have, for example, Chris Sims, a.k.a. number 1 Jalen Hurts hater. He is always trying to say, oh, Jalen Hurts is just a system guy. Yeah. Dak could do better with Hurts' weapons, and just so on and so forth. Just ludicrous takes. Not wanting to give the man his flowers. Even some people still are saying that, oh, the run game carried the Eagles last season. And while the run game, to their credit, did most of the work, let's not forget that ultimately, at the end of the day, it was Jalen Hurts who stepped up in the conference championship and the Super Bowl. And I think part of it is, though, too, that why people love to hate on the Eagles is because Philly isn't they're not the best play team to market as the heroes. It's not like that New York or Dallas media market. It's easy to market them as the heroes, America's team in the case of the Dallas Cowboys. Eagles kind of have that perfect underdog type, Philly type city vibe, and that works out. But unfortunately, some of the haters get involved, and that's where shit goes south, and that's what we're dealing with here. But yeah, it's just ridiculous. Some people just don't want to give the Eagles their credit due, and it's just absolutely aggravating and annoying, man. But hey, haters gonna hate, but that's all I'm gonna say. Now, moving on, we're gonna talk real quickly because there's a lot of NBA stuff I want to get to. There's one more NFL related subject. I'm gonna talk about the Jalen Ramsey going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, for the Steelers, that's great for their secondary. You got Jalen Ramsey and Minkah Fitzpatrick, which is nice. And then afterward, now you got in return Minkah Fitzpatrick going to the Dolphins, which is interesting now for Jalen Ramsey for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's great in the short term because a lot of times with the Steelers, they get a lot of great defensive players that help in the short term, but don't move the needle in the long term. It doesn't really solve the Steelers' biggest problem going forward is they don't have that long-term answer at quarterback, not yet. Now, maybe they're hoping this 1 year with Rodgers can help set forth for their future guy, but we'll have to wait and see. But for now, great pickup for the Steelers secondary. But on the flip side, you had also Minkah Fitzpatrick going to the Miami Dolphins. And for Fitzpatrick going to the Dolphins, it's interesting because he started off in Miami, you remember, but he didn't really fit in that well. Remember, he was being used as a nickel guy. Brian Flores wanted to use him in that role. And then all of a sudden, then he got traded to Pittsburgh. He started being used to his strengths and became a multi-time Pro Bowler. An elite, borderline elite secondary guy. Now he's going back to Miami. You got to wonder, does this time around the Dolphins use him to his strengths similar to what they did in Pittsburgh? And does that help the Dolphins secondary replace Ramsey? I mean, for the Dolphins' sake, they should try to utilize him in a similar role. But you got to also remember for Fitzpatrick, it's a different coach. Last time around when he left, it was Brian Flores. Flores is no longer the factor here. So you're wondering, so how does he fit in this side? Does he fit in different with Anthony Weaver? So that's something we got to wait and see. But hey, it's one of those trades. It's good, potentially good for both sides secondary, but we got to wait and see how it plays out. Now, I wanted to keep the football matter short. Now let's move on to the basketball side now, because there's a lot to talk about. You got NBA free agency. It's a lot of early winners and losers. We got news just flying off the charts right here now. Because I just started, as soon as I started this off, let's start the recent stuff. You got, it just broke that Yabusele is gone and he will be signing with the Knicks. It looked like he was going to sign with the Spurs. I kind of had a feeling that Yabusele was going to be gone, and he is, but he's going to the Knicks, which means we got to deal with him as an enemy now, playing against the Knicks. I mean, I was thinking if it was going to go, it would have been more bearable for Yabusele to go to, would have been more bearable obviously to go, say, somewhere like, like the Spurs, obviously, out west, for example, right now. Because then he's not in the same conference. You don't have to play him as much. But now you got to deal with him as a Knick. That's not the preferred destination if we were going to lose him. If we were going to lose him, it would have been more bearable, like I said, to go to a team out west we don't really got to worry about. But we lost him. And then you got another big one. Now for the Bucks, they just also apparently signed Miles Turner to a 4-year deal. So the Pacers lose Miles Turner, and it's crazy. It's all over the place. And crazy. I'm talking about basketball. Now some football news pops up. Give me 1 second. I'm going to start sharing the screen with you guys via IG with all this news. Give me a second. So we won't get off subject just for 1 second with something football. So I pulled this up to go to the NBA Trade Center to show you guys all the moves. And this is what pops up. Dolphins are finalizing a trade with the Giants for tight end Darren Waller, who is coming out of retirement to play for Miami. So Darren Waller is going to be a Miami Dolphin. Oh, boy. That's just crazy right there. We'll see how that one plays out. But. And let's take a look. What do we got? Let's start off with some of the more recent news, shall we? You got Clippers signed Brook Lopez to a 2-year deal. This broke late yesterday. And that's where we head right there. And then it's also got Damian Lillard is being waived by the Milwaukee Bucks. We kind of saw the writing on the wall. We knew this wasn't going to work out. And plus, Dame is coming off a big injury. You know he's not going to be viable long-term option. So, you kind of, so hey, you got to move on. So that's what happened there. It's just, what? I mean, then what else do we got right here? And then you got Miles Turner is leaving the Pacer. Like I said, yeah. And then here was another interesting one that happened 13 hours ago. A sign and trade. Yeah, Clint Capella is going to return. Now, Clint Capella will be traded back to the Rockets on a 3-year deal. And then you'll get a Houston 2031 second round swap, $4 million in cash as part of the deal. And you got Knicks are going to sign Jordan Clarkson to a minimum deal. It's just rapid fire. You got Hawks are signing Luke Kennard to a 1-year deal. And this is interesting. The Hawks are actually building up a solid team. Let's talk about them for a second. Here's another big move. The Hawks yesterday got Nickel Alexander Walker, 4-year deal. And what do the Timberwolves get? The 2027 second round pick, 7.2 trade exception, and some cash involved in this deal. That's what they're getting in return. So it's just like I said, it's off the charts already, folks. Just absolute. And then what else do we got? You got Karis LeVert going to the Pistons. But then the Hawks also got the trade with Boston. We'll get back to some of these other ones in a minute. Don't worry. I'll get back to them. I'm not skipping out. Just trying to keep on subject with the Hawks. So the Hawks get Nickel Alexander Walker, which could be a good pickup because they need some depth on offense. They need guys that can get points, and they're getting someone there. You also got Dyson Daniels, most improved player, a presence on defense. And wait, here you go. You got Trey. Porzingis is part of this too. And remember, Porzingis was part of the big trade, the big 3-team trade. So now Porzingis, a big man that can shoot. You get some depth at 3-point shooting for the Hawks alongside Trae Young, which is great, something they sorely need. And also, you get as well, you get, some depth to help out, take the pressure off Trae Young. So that's good right there. So now you're looking at Young, Daniels, Porzingis, Nickel Alexander Walker. Potentially, if all things work out, the Hawks could be back into contention, at least playoff contention, and could make some noise in the East. Now, does this make them championship contenders? Not quite, but it does help. Now, here's another big trade. I talked about my short. You have Bulls getting Isaac Okoro. Cavs getting Lonzo Ball. Who do I think's winning this one? I feel like as of now, Lonzo as a player is a potential winner because now he goes to a more favorable situation where he's now, he doesn't have as much pressure on him. He's going to be suited. He's in a place that suits his strengths more as a role player. He doesn't have to do as much. It's not as much wear as tear on his body. And to be fair, Lonzo was always more of a role player anyway. So I think this is a good fit for him. And then you got Isaac Okoro going to the Bulls. Now I feel like Okoro to the Bulls, this is a potential benefit here because for Okoro as an individual, because now he gets to go to a place where he'll get more minutes. Maybe he could shine, maybe earn himself a long-term contract with the Bulls, which could be good for him as a player, depending on how it pans out. Now for the Bulls as a team, they're going full-blown rebuild. They're moving all their main guys. The last piece left is Vucevic. That is the main guy. Obviously, they're planning on moving him, but we'll see what happens. But hey, as of now, then, some of the main trades. You also got Colin Sexton 1 year to the Hornets, Nurkic 1 year to the Jazz, a 2031 second-round pick for Sexton and the Hornets. It's depth. It's depth to their roster, but it's not moving the needle, so I don't think that's a big trade. If you're looking for a big trade, here's one. For one team specifically, Cam Johnson will be going from the Nets to the Nuggets on 2 years, while then the flip side, the Nets take on Michael Porter Jr.'s 2-year contract and a 2032 first-round unprotected pick from the Nuggets. It's pretty obvious who the potential winner of this trade is. It's potentially the Denver Nuggets, 100%. Yeah, you definitely deserve it, man. You're living the charmed free agency life. You just get to sit back, relax, like I wish I could. But for the Denver Nuggets, though, they have potential to win because you're talking about a guy in Cam Johnson who showed some potential to be the future face of the Nets. Now he gets to go to a team that's a championship contender. He could be a good number 2 guy behind Jokic, kind of be that number 2 guy that Michael Porter Jr. was 2 years ago during that championship run that he has not gotten back to being since then. And for Michael Porter Jr., well, his pocketbook's going to benefit from the Nets. But for the Nets, they get fleeced in this trade. The Nets are getting fleeced because Michael Porter Jr. is going to replace Cam Johnson, who could have potentially been a guy you built around for the future. For the Nets, you downgraded. You downgraded to Michael Porter Jr. What are you getting out of the future for this? This is just another classic example of the Nets getting in their own way. Nets, like, what are you doing? I don't get it, man. I just don't get it. But that's the Brooklyn Nets for you. That's what happens when you get teams that make the same crazy, nonsensical, blasphemous decisions over and over and over again. And ultimately, it backfires on them. And that's the case for the Nets, which as a Sixers fan, I say, awesome. Keep one of our rivals weak. Keep them a non-threat. And yes, the Nets are getting younger, but what are they really getting player-wise? They still need a star. They still need someone that could be the future face. And that's why I thought they could have stuck with Cam Johnson. But Nets gonna net, huh? Can never trust the Nets. And one thing you can promise, you can always go death, taxes, Nets getting fleeced in a trade. Now the NBA draft, we're going to close this one out. This is going to be kind of a quick show today, bro. Honestly, I'm just like, I ain't going to try to pretend that I'm 100% because I ain't. I'm dead ass tired, but I'm still here doing it. We just going to move on. Let's talk about the NBA draft a little bit. Potential winners and losers. You got the Spurs. Get yourself Dylan Harper. And you get yourself Carter Bryant. You get another potential. You have big man, potential future star to pair with Wemby. Maybe a potential trio with Harper, Wemby, and Fox trying to patiently rebuild. Though I like the Spurs odds there. And then you got the Sixers. You got VJ Edgecombe, Edspo, and Johnny Broom. Maybe those are two guys that could help going forward. I think the Jazz, you get Ace Bailey, you get a potential future star, but we got to wait and see what happens, though. I mean, the other teams that are kind of iffy right now, I mean, the Nets, they got 4 first-round picks, but are they really going to utilize those guys properly? I mean, 4 first-round picks, there's the potential to do something with them if they're the right guys, but we will have to wait and see. And Arcus said it. No, the draft really wasn't that great. You got a handful of guys that have potential to be stars that are going to be the main focus. Mainly, it's going to be the first 5 to 6 picks that are going to be the main focus. After that, it's kind of like, all right, we'll see what happens. That's the perspective as of now. Now, of course, come back a year, 2, 3, 4 from now, we could look back an entirely different way. Maybe there's that one guy that went somewhere here that might become the superstar that we didn't expect him to be. Maybe it's, somebody in the second round that might go somewhere. I don't know. He could be one of these guys somewhere that becomes the star. Who knows? But time will tell. We will have to see what happens. So but that's not my lot to say. I think the Mavericks, I mean, a lot of people are rating them as losers, but they could potentially pan out maybe. You got yourself your Cooper Flag. If Kyrie comes back at full force and AD stays healthy, they could be a potentially decent trio. I mean, time will tell, but we'll see. But I'll leave it at that, man. We're going to have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, that's all I really got for you for now. If you guys want to comment, let me know who your winners and losers are from the draft. And I want to thank, I know this is a short episode, but hey, I just wanted to come on here, cover the main subjects right now. I'm a little dead tired. I'm just going to relax for a little bit. Maybe I'll drop some shorts later after some little bit of rest about more of the news that's coming out. But hey, man, yeah, this is going to be a short episode of the 3-Point Blitz. Came on here, said my piece. Everyone that stopped by, thanks for stopping by. If you're just coming in, you were hoping for me to continue. I apologize for the inconvenience, but this was a shorter episode. I really need some rest. You guys can always skim through, catch what you missed out on. Make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and still thanks for tuning in. That being said, have a great rest of your day. Hope you enjoyed whatever bit of this you caught. Until next time, boy Nicky Stees signing off.